Minolta.
Alright, time's up, Samuel.
Yep.
Someday, man, someday. I don't need this. And the box, please.
Oh, the box too.
Yeah, the box.
Of course.
Yep. Alright, see you later.
Hi everyone, Samuel here. Welcome back to another video. I'm here with my new film buddy, Jae Rose. You also have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. I'm going to sound very different from this video to my other videos because I'm a little under the weather. But YouTube, Jae Rose, Instagram at j.photos, at j.rose, but yeah.
And you're a Leica user.
And I am officially now a Leica user.
Yeah.
Don't be jealous.
So what we are going to do today is just have a spontaneous chat. We both started shooting film almost the same time. You were a little bit earlier than me.
Yeah, maybe.
But we were mainly shooting digital prior to these cameras. So what were you shooting before that? Fuji?
Yeah, I was shooting Fuji, so I guess similar to you, I feel like this is bizarre world. We learned on digital, and now I'm switching to film. So yeah, I was shooting Fujifilm X-T2. I had the X100F for a little while. I think 9 months ago, maybe in February or so, I started shooting film, and I'm actually slowly transitioning out of digital altogether. So
that's interesting, yeah.
I want to eventually shoot my professional work, which is fashion stuff, on film as well. But right now, my personal work, street photography stuff, it's all on film.
And if you want to know how to get a Leica, you have your your Leica story on your channel.
Yes, I have a Leica story. If you believe in the law of attraction and hippity-dibbity California stuff, check out my video.
But the thing is, you have to believe that you will someday own something.
Again, I think it's sound really hippie and whatever, but it's kind of like you visualizing any kind of goal in life. And if you know for a fact that it's going to happen, you know you're gonna get one, that's literally the first step, is like knowing like this shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, like I think to sum up your video, you were saying like it needs to be like a fact almost in your mind that it is happening, it is going to happen, or it's happening.
So it's kind of like the difference between like a goal and an intention. That this wasn't a goal of mine to get. It was an intention, which was I knew I was gonna get. And I guess the difference between the two is a goal, you're like, yay, I hope I get it, or oh shit, I didn't get it, or whatever. But intention is like, you know 100% of a doubt that you're going to get it. And like, no joke, I set that intention, and in 30 days I got this, which is...
That's crazy.
But so I kind of graduated. I guess my gateway drug was the Olympus OM1, and then a couple months later, I just figured I'd go balls deep and just get a Leica.
And straight to the what is it? The A-League?
Yeah, exactly. I went straight to the pros. And I love it. But my transition, it's been, again, I don't know about your transition, like my transition's been pretty rough because I think, again, I don't know how it is for you, but when you shoot digital, you have a certain standard of your photos. Like, you've been doing it a while and you're just like, okay, I think I'm pretty decent. Like,
you know what you're getting?
You're starting to kind of feel yourself a little bit. You're like, you know what, I think I might send my stuff to Magnum, because, you know. No, but you have a certain level of your photography that you're like, oh wow, you have a process, you have a workflow in your digital stuff.
After a while you become very confident. With film, it's you have to build up that confidence again.
This was no joke the most humbling experience I've had. I'm not even joking. I think in 9 months I've taken 3 good photos.
Yeah, in 9 months.
And I think one is of a bubble that I like caught on the street where I was like, oh, cool, like, real quick. But, and again, because you have the, this is for me, I don't know about you, but you have certain street photography instincts, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're very quick, or you shoot from the hip, or you know your tool very well. And with film, I was trying to apply my street photography instincts with digital, but with film, and it was the worst. Like, all my photos were
it's
way
like learning
underexposed.
photography again.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's kind of I'm sure maybe for you, I don't know. That's the romanticism of it. Is like, I'm taking this art form, this medium back 40 years, from 30 years, whatever the case may be.
And I think there's a trend now to go back to fully manual, having control over everything, and then being proud of having taken an image that is 100% your fault.
Yeah.
Like the camera didn't do anything wrong or right. It was just you.
Yeah, you 100% made this photo.
Yeah.
Like, photo making, you are in that process.
Yeah.
And so I had that huge learning curve to where all my photos were terrible, so I kind of stopped making YouTube videos, and because I was switching to film, and I didn't want to put my crappy film photos up on YouTube or on Instagram. So I don't know what it is for you. Do you just not care? You just shoot, or
you mean on film?
Yeah, with like sharing your again, because sadly this is the world we live in terms of we create art and we have to post it on social media.
So maybe I start talking a little bit about this camera. So maybe I go back way back before I even bought this camera. So I was always looking at Leica, of course. Most of you guys will know that. And for me, it's not because Leica is Leica. It's everyone wants a Leica because of the red dot, for example. For me, it's just, I know it's like mechanical perfection, right? The precision, everything. Like, I had a few Leicas in my hands, and the shutter dial and the lenses, they feel amazing, like very high quality. So it's not so much about the prestigiousness, more of like having the ultimate tool,
Yeah, and a tool you'll have for 50 years.
Yeah, and also when you buy film cameras, then you can probably sell them for the same price or even higher, but on digital, their shelf life is maybe 2 years, and then if you're lucky, you can get half of the money back.
Yeah, and that's what I learned when I purchased this, is like, essentially you're renting the camera for 5 years, 10 years, and when you don't want it anymore, let's say whatever, you've fallen off the cliff and don't like photography, you can sell it for the same exact amount. So you rented it for 10 years.
Yeah, and if you keep shooting 35mm film, then it will always be the same film. There will not be like a sharper version of this. So you don't need to worry about updates coming, upgrades coming.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, we don't ever have to worry about 24 megapixel, 50 megapixel,
or Moray, or weird stuff that digital sensors do. So I was looking into Leica, and as most people have the same issue. It's just the money.
Everybody would have one if it wasn't 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. So I was looking into the M2, for example, the M4. These are more the cheaper Leicas. But the issue is with like the old models, like M2, for example. I don't know how old it is now, 60 years maybe. You definitely need to service them. If they haven't been used for a while. And I heard that the M2, for example, needs the service like regularly. Oh, really? Because the rangefinder patch has to be corrected.
It's misaligned quite a bit.
So it's like, let's not go into an old M camera, maybe the M6 like you have, but it's like, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 euro maybe, and I couldn't afford that. So then I came up the Leica CL, which is like a very cheap Leica. And then I found out that Leica made this together with Minolta, and then Minolta made their own camera, which is this one, the CLE. And I think the CLE stands for Compact Leica Electronics.
Oh, maybe.
But maybe this is wishful thinking, I don't know.
To be honest, they look very similar.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
the
Minolta
build-
must
the
have
build-
learned from making
build
the
of
CLE.
yours, obviously this one's heavier,
Yeah.
but this looks very kind of sleek and kind of sexy, and it looks like this is a really solid camera.
Yeah, I mean it's not full. It's not a full metal body like the Leica cameras, but I think this part is metal and the rest is maybe plastic. But one of the reasons for this is also that I'm not really a huge fan of the weight of the Leica cameras. They're like very, very heavy. You probably get used to it, but this one is much lighter, and it's without this half case. It's even a little bit smaller than the X100, which is crazy. And then it's all about the lenses for me because I want to shoot 28 basically. So my goal was always to have a very good 28 lens. But on Leica, the frame lines are.
Yeah, but the M6, you can actually shoot a 28 on this. 20, and that's why I got the M6 in particular, because I'm flirting with wanting wider frame lines and just and this is my personal opinion. If you can shoot on a 28 millimeter and get good images, like you've mastered composition, like because you have to really fill in that frame and play with layers, whatever. But so the M6 is why I got this, because you can do a 28 and a 35.
Yeah, and I have been looking through a viewfinder from an M6 from a friend, and the 28 they are like not at the corner of the frame, but very close, and you can't really see much going into the frame because it's so much outside of the frame, right? But on this one, it's
more or less looking through a SLR, because it's what you see is what you get a little bit.
But on this one, the 28 is maybe like the 35. On this one, I don't know, a little bit wider. So that was one reason. And then the other reason is this camera's made for 28 and 40, and I really love 40 millimeter. So this is a 40 millimeter now, and this is actually
such a small lens too. It's nice.
This is actually a rebranded Leica Summicron lens. So this is actually the cheapest Leica you can get. And it was so hard to get this one, and I found it in like super good condition.
Did you find it on eBay?
Yep. Oh, I need to tell a little story. So I was in Japan a few weeks ago, and at that time I didn't have this lens. But I was like,
it looks new. It's like so.
Yeah,
good.
It looks very new. So I was going to almost every camera store in Japan, in Tokyo, and everyone was saying, "Oh no, we don't have it." They only had the CL version. There's an older version, but it has like less coatings and.
This is the Minolta brand.
Yeah, this is Minolta, but the Leica Summicron is exactly the same lens. Only says Leica.
But you wanted to match Minolta cameras.
Yeah, I wanted to have this.
You wanted the matchy.
Yeah, exactly. And also because it's very small.
Yeah, like, it's so good.
Yeah. So and then I couldn't find it. And then I was very impatient, and I bought a Voigtlander 40 1.4 for $300 or so, but only to be able to shoot 40 in Japan, and then back in Germany.
That is impatient.
Yeah, I know.
So you bought a lens just like fucking I'm gonna
just to shoot it.
Just to shoot it.
You know, I can always
Japan.
sell it again. I actually bought it new, brand new. But I paid less than I would buy if I buy it used in Germany. Okay. So I will make some money out of it. Yeah, and then I found this on eBay in German actually, in Germany.
Oh wow.
One guy was selling it. Yeah, so I got it. I don't know why I'm talking about this lens, but...
No, how do you feel about 28 mil and 40 as opposed to 35 and 50? Like having that, because to me that sounds like a really good combination, to have really wide and like medium wide versus 35 and 50, because usually that's the go-to, 35 and 50 versus 28, 40.
I think if when I was shooting 35, I didn't ever need a 50. For me, 35 was working for everything. Sometimes I wished it was wider, and then I started shooting more 28, and then I forced myself to shoot 50 again on my Fuji. I bought the 35 lens.
50.
It's weird. It's too close. I don't like it, and I'm such a fan of organizing the frame and putting stuff in it. and it's so much fun on a 28. And the 40 feels like a 35. It's wide enough for most situations, but you get a little bit more compression.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You have a really nice 3D look on 40. On 50, it sometimes feels like a tele lens, and 40 is more like a medium. I think 40 is more close to the human eye than 35, and 40 is also the most cinematic focal length.
Is it?
Yeah, for filmmaking, the 40 is.
I thought 35 would be.
No, 35 is only used on photo cameras. On cinema cameras, they have different focal lengths. And close to, for example, what a lot of movies are shot on a Super 35 sensor size, which is, I think, a little bit smaller than APS-C. And for that, you would have like a 27 or 30 lens, which would be more like a 40.
Because I shoot on my Fujifilm, my X-T2, I shoot the Pancake, which is 27, which
that's
equates
a
to full
40.
frame 40. And I like that. That's my ultimate go-to digital set. But I haven't shot digital in, no joke, 9 months, which is weird.
We should talk about our experiences now. So you've been shooting for 9 months now?
Yeah, just strictly film. I did that crossover, and I think it's a weird feeling because I think, again, the dumb analogy for me is like, so this is a car. This is an all-manual car, and let's say, for instance, the XH1, the Fujifilm, that's a fully auto car, but fully auto as in it's above Tesla to where you can't even steer. All you could do is press the gas, which is the shutter. That's it, because everything else does it for you. Right? But now shooting,
you're the side driver, or what is it when you sit next to the driver?
I guess.
What is the person called who is next to the driver?
The passenger?
Passenger?
Yeah.
You're like a passenger on the digital camera?
Yeah, exactly.
And on film or manual, you are the driver.
Yeah, that's actually a good analogy, because at least when you're the driver, you can, change gears, you can hit the clutch, gas, all this, and actually steer. When you're in digital, you're literally kind of talking to Siri. Like, all right, take photo now. All right, hang a right and wait for the shadow, and whatever. But that's how I feel. I don't know if because again, I haven't went back to digital unless I was like making a YouTube video or something in 9 months. But you go back and forth.
Yeah, but it's honestly a weird feeling. So since I started shooting film, I still shoot my GR, of course. And I think with the GR, it's not
By the
weird
way, Ricoh
at all.
GRs are great products.
Buy
one.
Here's your $50.
Thank you.
No, the thing is, if I would shoot, for example, I used to use my XH1 for photos as well, and I don't anymore because it feels weird shooting a DSLR type camera, digital camera, when I have this. And also one of the reasons why I wanted to have a film camera is because of the optical viewfinder. To be honest, I missed having that photography experience.
You're seeing real life.
Exactly. And this one, I don't mind shooting with the LCD, but I'm still a photographer in my heart, I want to have this experience of changing the aperture and focusing and then waiting for the moment, So that's why we wanted to get a film camera, and that's why I also don't really think that the X Pro 3, for example, would be for me, because it gives you the illusion of having control and having a manual camera, but you still have autofocus, you still have the EVF, and it's not a proper rangefinder. And I get why people get mad about the X Pro camera not being a proper rangefinder, because I was always like, whatever, the viewfinder's on the left side, so it's the same.
Could they do that with like technology? Fujifilm is just like, rather than putting it in one of the corners, they put the little electronic right in the middle, and then just have it to where it's rangefinder-esque. Because that's what my thing with the X Pro 3, if they made it like a rangefinder and had the little EVF screen in the middle, and to where you can just line up images, and then also if they were to just like literally make a manual lens,
They
cool. You just made a Leica M10D.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You know, yesterday I was talking about that with some other photographers here in London, and we came up with the idea that Fujifilm should make an M-mount camera, rangefinder, make Fuji manual lenses that work on their M-mount camera, but also make the lenses available for Leica shooters.
That'd be kind of cool.
And because if they would need to do like Fujicron, real Fujicron lenses, you know, with the focusing tab. But if they make them for Fuji, then they have to invest a lot of money, like research and production, and then they make one really niche camera that maybe doesn't sell well, you don't know. But if you create an M-mount camera, then people that already have Leica, for example, they could also buy a Fuji rangefinder
without like giving up your arm.
Yeah.
Your
and for example, I could buy a Fuji rangefinder and could use these lenses because it's M-mount. So I think they can do it, and maybe the X Pro 3 is like the first step in this direction.
Well, essentially, like what I had the idea. I was actually gonna make a video on this, but anyways, just Fuji should just have the M-mount adapter included with that camera, because essentially what you're talking about is having the adapter on it, and I had to separately buy the adapter to put my Zeiss lens on my X-T2, but I have yet to use it because it's still shooting like a digital. There's no.
But it has to be a full frame sensor then, because if you adapt Leica lenses, then you know
it's a 50. My 35 is a 50.
And you can't focus to infinity because it's not real infinity then. So anyways, I just think that the X Pro 3 is the way they market the camera now is like too much. It's still an X Pro camera.
Yeah, to be honest, I got this is. Sorry, Fujifilm, but I got off the Fujifilm kick like 6 months ago, 9 months ago. So I don't. The only way Fujifilm is going to get money from me again is I still want to get the macro lens, and I probably down the road
for scanning.
Yes, exactly. For scanning, well, and still like for professional work, like have really good like macro shots.
Oh yeah.
Or GFX at some point for professional work, but outside of that, I think Fujifilm I've tapped out, and I'm only, no joke, my past 3 cameras have been film cameras, because like what we were saying earlier is you can sell it for the same exact price.
Maybe we can talk a bit about the film aesthetic and colors, because we were talking about Fujifilm, and everyone loves Fujifilm because of their film simulations.
So this, again, I don't know if you've struggled with this as I have, is because we were so used to digital sensors, lenses that go with digital body, so we're used to extremely sharp images. We're just used to it. Like our eye is trained to look at a sharp image and be like, oh, that's a good shot, whatever. And then once you put a vintage lens on it, or a vintage lens on your digital, or just shooting film, it's not as sharp. So that threw me off quite a bit, and that's the kind of charm to film. But I was looking at my images like, it's kind of shitty. Maybe I'm blaming my own shitty composition on it being a crappy lens or having too much character. But it was a learning curve for me, because my Voigtlander on my M6 wasn't, I don't know, I didn't need it to be digitally sharp. I just needed it sharper. Like, so for me, I didn't like a lot of my film shots because I'm not comparing digital.
Was it because of the lens, or just generally?
But see, but for us, for me, it's both, because I've only shot digital and now I'm switching to film, and then on top of that, I have a lens with more character, and I'm like, oh shit, this is not what I'm used to. So I had to kind of retrain my eye, and then with the grainy look of film, and then a lens with more character, and so now I'm in like this perfect happy medium to where when my shots have character, it's because of the film grain, but not so much with the lens. Because then again, I had to retrain my brain to be like, oh wow, this is what they mean when it's all about the lens, good quality lens. So I finally.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because with film, it's all about the lens. The body is you can shoot anybody.
It doesn't matter. But with digital, it's all about the body almost because everything is clinically clean. So this is the learning curve when I finally put on a Zeiss lens, a good quality lens. And shot film, I was like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm missing. This is my happy medium. I get the characteristic of film, the cool graininess, all that kind of stuff, but I get it. It's not clinically sharp, not digitally sharp, but it's really sharp. And that's why I find why a lot of Leica shooters are shooting with the Leica Summicron is because the images look amazing. The micro contrast is there, the sharpness is there, and I was shooting with a Voigtlander. And I was like, fuck, am I becoming a shitty photographer? Like, that's what I
see, that is exactly the option that I didn't want to take. Because I was like, okay, I should get the M2 maybe or the M4, and then my budget would only allow for a Voigtlander lens. But then I was like, no, there's no 28 Voigtlander. I mean, I think there are, but
there is, but it's chunky. It's like that.
Yeah, and then when I found out that Minolta made these lenses with Leica glass, I was like, oh shit, this is my 28 and this is my 40. So it was like a CL or a CLE, and thankfully I actually like this body a lot.
And then you have a good quality lens to match it.
Yeah.
This is more of a philosophical question, but this was during my film transition. Like, do you feel that? Maybe I'm asking myself this question, but do you feel that you're becoming a shittier photographer?
Because of film?
No, just in general. I think, no, because there is a time, and I still feel, it's like that whole adage of the more you know, the more you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a time, and maybe I still think
this is how our midlife crisis is like.
I'm in my 30s, man.
Yeah.
I can't.
Other guys
my photos
get
are looking shit. Exactly. So it's more of an existential, philosophical, and I think the more I know about photography and street photography, the shittier I'm becoming. And then my transition in film was on top of that. So I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to show anybody my film shots.
Yeah, I think to answer for both of us, I think maybe 80% is true of what you're saying. Because not that we produce shitty images, but I think that our images tend to lack something after a while. If you only think about, for example, I was so focused on creating layers and finding interesting moments that I think a little bit of the soul of the image was lost. And I feel like now, after shooting with the CLE for a while,
it put that soul back in.
Yeah, it feels because I'm not pro optical viewfinder or pro LCD. I like both, but using the viewfinder, the optical viewfinder, and also I think because the lens sees something different than the viewfinder sees.
Yeah,
I think that it's a kind of an interesting relationship. Like when you use a DSLR, a film DSLR, I know how the image will look like. But because there's a little bit of parallax, it is a little bit different. Because I know that I'm not so careful about my composition, but I look what is happening, like how it feels, what's in the frame. I see suddenly, like I feel emotion coming from a person, and then I don't know if I got the moment exactly right, but I can feel it if it's right, and I feel it if it's wrong.
And with the optical or rangefinder or whatever, you're searching more for that moment. And what I found when shooting film is I'm doing. This can sound bad, but I'm doing less Instagram likable photos. I'm doing more documentary. I'm doing more real emotion, like just a very great moment between a father and its kids, or a great moment between two lovers. I'm no longer doing heavy shadows, and just color pop, and I'm no longer doing those photos because that cutesy part of my photography kind of career I'm kind of done with.
Good way to put it.
And again, that if that's the kind of photos you like and you do, that's cool. That's why I love street photography so much, because there's different styles in this subgenre of photography. And but what I would have to say is, if you do that type of photography, it's very hard to transition into film, because you're so heavily relied on looking at the EVF and seeing what you get, and seeing someone go in and out of light, or you're seeing that pop of color. When you're doing with film, like, all I'm seeing is real life. So like, I can't see the heavy contrast, the dark shadows, or that really beautiful golden hour light. So my transition into film became a lot easier in that aspect, because I stopped taking those Instagram worthy photos. So so yeah, that's I think but that was more of a philosophical, do you think you're getting shitty? That's the way I felt. That's the way I felt.
I think the first images, of course, that I took were not the greatest. Like, I had to get used to going close again, because this is 28, and when I got the CLE, I had only this lens, which is 28, and then on a camera like the GR, I can just point.
Exactly. You can have your arm out.
Exactly. Yeah. But now let me put this on.
This one, you have to have your neck out. You have to have your neck out to get in it.
Yeah, exactly. If I want to get close, I need to physically come close. So it's a different
and
experience.
that's and not only is a different experience, but it's a different approach too to photography. So it's like you have to now take away that veil of, oh shoot, I don't want to get too close, they'll see me. But that's the challenge. Now you're challenging yourself more as a photographer. Like, I don't want to be close like this, I want to be close like this. And that kind of is challenging yourself, ultimately making you a better photographer.
Yeah, and for me, the experience shooting wide on film taught me again how to be comfortable close up, Because with this camera, like, sometimes I pretend like I'm a tourist and I joke around like, hey, and smile. But with this, I always do the Gary Winogrand technique, so I have my camera like this when I walk over the street, and then I can be like looking at stuff, and then all I need to do is just this, Or sometimes I look at what's happening, and then I take pictures when I see something interesting. Well, sometimes I even walk like this to someone and then look up, and it feels like I'm going into a scene and going away to the next scene. It's not like, oh, there's a scene here, but I'm not in there,
So I use the Gary.
But this is still a great camera.
Wink. Thank you, Rico.
And here, if you're a film shooter and you want to shoot digital, then you don't get a big camera, you get a GR.
No, I also do the Gary Winogrand technique to where I'm looking like an idiot, but the reality is I'm an idiot, to where I'm still trying to like figure out my exposure, because the good thing about the M6 is there is a light meter. So half the times when I'm doing a street walk, I'm actually just checking exposure, because I'm guessing. So I'm just like, all right, so I think it's 1/250th of a second, and then I check. I'm like, fuck, it's 1/500th. So I'm constantly. The light meter has been my learning curve, to where now I can more or less expose by eye, and I couldn't do that with digital photography at all. And now my distance scale, I can judge. Okay, this person is 6 feet away. Right there, that's 10 feet. Okay, they're at infinity. So these are skills that I've had to learn by switching to film. Is when you're shooting digital, you don't give a fuck about distance scale. You don't know how far this person is. You don't care, because your camera does it. But here, you actually have to know distance scale.
Maybe just to explain for people who don't know rangefinder cameras, they usually have a focusing tab, so you don't focus like this, but you have this tab. And you have to do it.
I have a tab too. It's more of a nub. I call it the Zeiss clit, because it's kind of hard to find sometimes. And I know it's there somewhere, but you have the overly big, more sensitive one.
So
It's just a lot of fat around.
what the fuck?
Alright, we're gonna cut all that stuff out.
Be cool.
Okay, be cool, be cool.
So
Be
the thing
nice.
is, the thing is, there are two directions. Like left, all the way left is close, the closest focus distance, and all the way to the right is infinity. So all you need to do is just remember the positions. Like if I know this is infinity, then I can go out and then immediately take pictures of something in the distance. And then maybe I want to shoot something that is 1 meter away, then it's usually around 1.2. I mean, yeah, close. But yeah, if you do that, then you don't need to think about anything technical, because it becomes second nature.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're talking about. That's the beauty of film and being more engaged in the photo. Is, oh shoot, when I go in a shadow area, I have to open it up one stop. All right, I'm at 125th. Go into more shadow area. Oh, I'm at 160th. Things like that. And then when I see my subject, I pre-focus it. All right, I'm at 10 here. Boom.
And the more you do it, you get more and more precise.
Yeah.
And I want to get to that point where I can really nail focus, like even at f4 or f2.8 maybe. Like that's super hard, but I know people who can do that. And it's just like learning.
Gangster.
Yeah, that's so gangster, I know. But
To be at f2 and be like nail focus, pre-focus, and boom.
1.4 on the eye.
You have a Noctilux at 1.95.
But the thing is, what is the saying? So there's this saying that the sky is the limit, right?
Yeah.
So you can always get better and better.
Yeah, for sure.
So your skills can get better over time when shooting one camera, one film camera, one lens.
Yes.
But on digital, the focus is always the same speed. But you can improve on manual focus. You can become better, and I think ultimately the better you get, the more like prepared you are, right, for situations. And then I think in the end it creates better images because you only focus on the image.
Yeah, and whatever, like one great photo or one great image, that's subjective anyways, like who gives a fuck. But at the very least, it feels better for you. Because like, holy fuck, like I actually, like, I took this from my hip and I just pre-focused it and shot it and I actually nailed it. So that gives you joy.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually enjoy pulling focus when I film, like video. Like when I have, right now I'm not doing any video jobs other than YouTube, but I love like being able to rack focus, you know, something, and then I feel so proud when I do like dog style handheld shooting, and I'm like following Mr. Focus on the eye, then on the hand, and
oh really?
yeah,
That's
it's like,
really good actually.
Yeah, I mean if you know
you do it with your lens, you're not doing it with a focus
I'm doing
pull.
this with this lens too.
Are you doing it with a focus pull though?
I have one, but I rarely use it.
But yeah, to do that, like, that's actually.
But it's so fun. And it's just because it's all me. It's I'm controlling what you at the end see on video, and I think that's the same for film. Like I want to have full control, and it feels nice, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
It's
hands
really
down,
nice.
and that's why it's very awkward for me to go back to digital, to be honest. And I'm slowly trying to shoot my professional work, my fashion stuff, on film as well, because in that medium, since everybody's doing digital, it's kind of a niche-y, cool thing to shoot film now. So why not do my personal work on this and then do my professional work on there too? Like I want to get into medium format film. Like
The thing is, with film, every simple scene looks kind of nice and has a certain mood because of the film. So I think the danger here for us is, or for many people who start shooting film, they think their work is meaningful suddenly because everything has, you know. So I think,
oh my gosh, it's so great! Like look at the texture. It's just so vintagey.
I'm going to do a project about this, and then it's suddenly very great work in your mind. But I think for us, it's just coming from digital, suddenly it feels much more real as a photograph. It's a real photograph.
And I think, I don't know if it is for you, for me, there is a romanticism to it. Like, I couldn't, and again, this is me personally, I couldn't call myself a street photographer if I don't know how to shoot on film, because that's where it started. So again, this is me personally. So there's a romanticism to doing it a very old school way. Like I eventually, I don't know about you, I eventually want to process my film at home, and I want to get an enlarger. Shout out to Photo Andre Wagner. Like
oh
his
yeah,
stuff.
I don't know if he's ever watching this.
He probably won't. Shout out to that guy. His stuff is so cool, and I admire it. And he's a contemporary. He's like our age or whatever. And I dig that old feeling to like, yo, he's putting in work like it's the 70s and it's 2019. And I love that idea. It's like being into shoes and you're go to a cobbler and you're an apprentice or something weird. That's how I feel what film photography for me is. There's a romanticism in it.
Yeah. It's easy to become like snobberish, or how do you call it? There's a big snobbery in the scene, in the film photography scene.
It is, but it's like, and that's why I feel when people say, I talked about this in one of my videos to where it's just like, you hear old film heads who are like, oh, digital, it's too clinic, like it's too this, and I kind of get it now, but if it's a good image, it's a good image. And we talked about this previously, where the image should stand on its own. I don't care what camera it is, what format, whether it's digital, film. If you were to pluck this photo from the sky, is it a good photo or not? And that's really what it comes down to, is like, does it tell a good story, the composition, the lighting, all that. So nothing really matters after that. So
let's talk a little bit about film. Like, what film have you been shooting, and what is your experience so far? Your favorite films?
I'm very kind of methodical in how I work, and like I talk about this on my channel a little bit, where it's just like I'm into mastering the small stuff before I get into start stretching myself as a photographer or whatever. You start mastering the little stuff before I move on. So for a while I've been shooting, ultimately I want to get to a level, again, this is going to sound stupid because of digital.
To the point, man.
Shut the fuck up and just
tell me
come
your
on,
favorite
just
stuff.
tell me No, I've been playing around with having one certain black and white look and one certain color.
Yeah, like you have to get to know the different films
so I was
first.
playing around with a bunch, and then I really like Tri-X for black and white, and I'm starting to really love Kodak Ultramax for color. And what I want to do is I want to almost shoot 10 rolls each, have this as my like actual look for color, actual look for black and white, and then kind of teeter from there, try new things, like, oh, this is different from my usual Tri-X because it's not as crunchy. There's a little more grayscale and Ilford or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But so lately I've been shooting a lot of Kodak Ultramax for my color, and then Tri-X for black and white. But yeah, and I'm playing around with different film speeds. So I only started on, I was pushing everything to 1600 to help with my zone focusing. But now, since I can kind of focus by feel, I started going back down to 400 speed film. Again, that's a topic in itself, but...
So how many rolls did you shot so far? Roughly.
Just film in general, or just
like since you started shooting film 9 months ago?
Like to be honest, I kind of went like ham and just started just like almost treating it like digital, because I was trying to train my digital instincts with film, and I didn't want to be that person that was just precious, because I'm not going to learn with being so precious with my photos, and because it's film, there's a lag in terms of when we're able to actually see our shots, processing, photo lab, all that kind of stuff. I just started fucking ripping through rolls, like, so I don't know, I've shot maybe 50, 60, 70s, I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I've just been, again, it's wasting money, but for me, that's part of the medium. That's part of the process. It's like, I'm not precious with my shots. But in my actual, like, let's say if we were to go walk around for 5-6 hours, like a regular street photography walk, I only actually take maybe 22 shots. So I'm much more selective. And I still get some keepers, but I don't know, I'm not flailing away 500 shots on 1,000 shots on digital, because 99% of them are going to be shit anyways. So yeah, I've shot quite a bit. Again, I was just ripping through. Must be nice worrying about money, but still, I think
what
to
do you
me
do for
that's
living
a process.
again? You know what I really enjoy with film is that if you have a film, you have one roll is 36 exposures, sometimes 37 or 8. What I enjoy is not having the pressure to, you know, shoot through the film in a day. Like, you can take maybe 10 pictures a day and then it's fine. You just put your camera back home, and then next day you want to take a different picture, then, you know, you can continue. And it feels like this camera is only there for you for the moment, like to grab it now and I'm capturing something, and then, you know, I don't need to worry. No backups, you know, no naming the files, etc. But then when it's done, it's done. And then later, I kind of enjoy seeing like what I actually took with this roll. Like, it's not like, oh, this roll is just this. This roll is just this. It's more like, oh, this roll saw this and saw this, went to this trip.
Yeah. It's a mix of like, it's like a mixture of your life a little bit. To like, oh, I forgot I went with my wife to this place.
Yeah, it's nice.
And then like, I did some street photography here in the middle, and I went to wherever. Yeah.
So,
what do you
my
like?
favorite films.
What do you like shooting?
So the same as you, I wanted to first get to know different films. So I started, I think, with the cheapest one, Kodak Gold 200,
which is good, actually.
Yeah,
with really good lighting.
It's nice, yeah, when you have sunlight. And then I also shot a lot of Ultramax. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Ultramax. I don't quite like how the red and blue looks like. Like, blue jeans look totally not how they look in real life. Sometimes they look nice, but most of the time, I don't know, I didn't like them too much. I know that I'm going to like Portra 400, because I have shot that in the past.
Do you have any Portra right now?
Yeah, I have 3 rolls that I don't touch anymore, because there's other color film I really like, and I gave you 1 roll last time. We did a film roll exchange.
Yay!
Yeah, these are the nice things you can do when you shoot films. So my new favorite color film is Lomography 800.
How much is this? Because you gave this to me. Is this expensive?
No, they sell it in a pack of 3, and it's around €20. I don't know how many pounds that is, but so it's like €6.50 maybe a roll, which is very cheap for 800 speed film. But I always thought that Lomography sounds like a hipster film. The colors are probably way off. And it does have a bit of a retro look, but when I scan them, they look they just look perfect to me. In every situation, the colors look nice, even like on cloudy days.
Real quick, when you get your scans back, do you find yourself doing a lot of editing? Like,
no, I do correct.
Less so than when you're doing digital.
Almost the same, because on digital I don't edit at all. Like, most of my digital photos on my Instagram, for example, they just came out of this camera, like just straight. And maybe I changed the brightness or contrast inside the Instagram app. And with film, so I scan them myself at home, and I use View Scan. Do you know View Scan? It's a very nice software for scanning film, and then you can change the white balance a little bit, and then the white point and black point, and then you can add a curve a little bit, and I get results that I'm very pleased with. And I think I will, when I give my film to a lab and say, please give me scans, they will just scan it straight how it comes out. And for me, I still like having that freedom to change it a little bit. So yeah, color, Lomography 800.
What about black and white?
Yeah, black and white. So I was always a Tri-X fan, and I thought I would never like HP5, but I actually really like HP5. So I was shooting in Japan, and that's the first time I was trying out HP5.
HP5 is good. I like a little more bite.
Yeah, that's why I also push it.
But that might be good for. I haven't tried it for portraiture work or anything, but.
Yes, I think with flat lighting it doesn't look that great, but with any side light or edgy light it looks very nice, and so I will always push it to 800, but this time here in London I pushed it to 1600 the first time, so I don't know how it turns out.
Yeah, I just put the HP5 in here, and I'm gonna push it 2 stops to 1600 because just the weather is shit.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, yeah. So I think we should wrap it up. Any last words? What is the future? What does the future for you look like?
For me personally, or
More film
photography? Yeah. Oh no, hands down. I'm setting my intentions right now. I'm setting my intentions. No joke. I'm probably gonna, hands down, I'm probably gonna get a Context G2 for my fashion work. I try to shoot fashion on my Leica. It's terrible because I have to manual focus it, and shooting in portraiture mode, like the rangefinder patch is upside down. Like it's a nightmare. So I'm probably gonna get a Context G2 and a Mamiya RZ67. Those are, and I'm probably gonna get a Context T2 as well, the Kendall Jenner camera. But no, just because I think that's what I learned for myself is the romantic thing is I want to shoot one camera, one lens, and this. But to be honest, that's not the practicality of it. I shoot multiple genres. I shoot street photography and fashion equally. I do this for my personal work, and to use them both. One tool for both genres, it's just stupid. So I'm most likely I'm investing in more film cameras. I'm trying to go all out and switch to film. But in the meantime, I still have my Fujifilm stuff, my X8.
So are you gonna make videos about the film process for you on your channel, or will you make videos about the Context G2 maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Look out for it, I guess. I'm not a big reviewy type person, but I definitely want to talk about the process. And again, I haven't been putting out videos because I've been really working hard on my film and that transition. Like I want it to be at a level where I'm comfortable with. Yeah. And I've just been, to be honest, this is gonna be sad for you guys or whatever. Good thing you don't feel this way, but I'm like, should I make a YouTube video or should I shoot film? I'm like, fuck YouTube. Like, I shoot film all day. Yeah. So I've been doing that for the past 6 months. So again, lucky for you guys, he doesn't think the same.
But it's so funny because I'm here for the GR project to shoot an episode, and I'm like, why do I shoot GR now? I want to shoot film.
It's a very dark.
It's a lie.
Exactly.
I enjoy this camera so much. No, I still enjoy it.
So what is your future with film and going into?
To be honest, I'm not planning on getting any new cameras or lenses, because for me, all I wanted is 28, a good 28 and a good 40, and a film camera that I really enjoy, and I don't see.
No, this is solid.
The thing is, if this camera breaks, I'll probably just get another one if I can find one.
Well, because you already have the 2 lenses.
Yeah, so. And if I can't find one, I can still get a Leica someday and can still use my lenses. The 40 will be a bit awkward to use, but...
does your 28 fit on mine?
Yeah. You want to try it?
Yeah. Because I want to get a 28 mil.
There you go. Let me try your. I already did. Oh, it's so hefty.
Oh shit. Oh wow. Oh man, I might have to get me a 28. When I get money, I'm not the richest person. It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah. It fits, I think, the Leica body quite well.
It does. But so you're good with your. Give my shit. So you're good with you're happy with your equipment.
Yeah, I mean, I still need time to make it. I want to get really good with this camera, and so far, you know, maybe I shot 10 rolls so far. So I'm fairly new.
Yeah.
You know, I think we should end this with a slideshow. Like, if you can send me some of your film shots, let's end it so you can also see then different films and what we have been shooting.
I have to include some of my digital stuff at least, so they don't know I'm a total piece of shit street photographer.
You put it like a grain filter over it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh shit, he's so good.
Yeah.
It's all so crispy.
But yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this long ass video. This was a very spontaneous idea, but yeah, let me know in the comment section if you should film, if you think we are being snobs here.
Maybe, probably.
If I should have gotten a Leica instead of this.
We've gone to the dark side.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Or in his video.
And my own.
Yeah.
Cool. How many